Hi, my name's Rob Fisher. I'm the Marketing Manager at Redstack. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar on what's new in AutoCAD Electrical 2017. We have Z presenting for us. He does all of our AutoCAD Electrical training and is our in-house AutoCAD Electrical expert. He's been working with the product for a long time now, and he's definitely the right man to be presenting to you today.
Morning everybody, my name is Z. I'm an application engineer at the Melbourne office in Reseqencing, and I've been working as an application engineer for about 10 years now. Yep. And today I'm going to show you what's new in AutoCAD Electrical 2017. Now, overall, the 2017 is not a major upgrade, however, it has a major feature update. So today we're going to have a look at some of the new features, such as the major feature, which is SQL Server support for catalog data. People have been asking for that for a while now, so in 2017 they've actually introduced it. And then we're going to have a look at the content migration utility, which is also for SQL Server catalog data, and also some of the new feature added with AutoCAD Electrical Inventor, combined beam material report, also ignore errors in AutoCAD Electrical audit function, link component in the location view, and Engler and link connector in the location view tab as well. And also we're going to have a look at item number balloon update, miscellaneous enhancements such as project level in the location view, items resequence in the footprint for catalog browser, and some security update. So first of all, a major update in 2017 is Microsoft SQL Server support for catalog data. So since AutoCAD Electrical was invented, like I don't know, 15 years ago, AutoCAD Electrical been using with catalog data, which is Microsoft Access database. It works quite well in a standalone kind of environment, but once you start working with a team, then the performance starts slowing down. So if you've got lots of people accessing the same catalog, then we've actually got quite a few reports from people that it takes a long time to search for a component, and also due to the slow network speed on the server, because if you have to share it, you have to store it in a common location, right? So that also contributes to the slow speed in catalog searching. So in 2017, they introduced SQL support. So SQL is a Microsoft database server, and it has a much higher performance compared to the Access. Those who use Vault, you'll be pretty familiar with SQL, and that is the Vault, Autodesk Vault data management system is also managed by SQL, which gives you a very fast seeking speed and data storage, and also very secure as well. And so in 2017, they introduced the SQL Server support, but it is not a replacement. Okay, so user can choose to use SQL for their catalog data, or stick to the old Microsoft Access catalog data. You don't have to go to SQL if you don't want to use it. For most one-person or single-user environment, you probably won't notice that much difference, but if you've got a multi-user environment, definitely consider about SQL as well. Okay. So there's two ways to use SQL. One way is you share it across the network, so a lot of people can access to the SQL. So what that means is you, the administrator, create an SQL database on the server. Okay. And then there's instruction come through, so how to create it. We'll go through a bit of that as well. So once the SQL database for the catalog is created on the server, when the user installs the software, they can choose where the server is. Okay, like in the deployment method, so where is the server link, and the username, password, and database. Okay, and user can use their Windows authentication to log in. The other option is like a one-person or smaller environment where the SQL is stored on the local user computer. So it's the same computer I use for AutoCAD Electrical. And you can also create an SQL on your own computer and use it that way as well. The SQL supports the free Express SQL and also the full version SQL as well. The difference is a full SQL give you 10 gig limit, well, unlimited, where the free one, the free Express give you 10 gig limited database. All right. And so when you're creating the SQL Server instance, when you install the software, you can choose between the deployment mode or standalone mode. So deployment mode is for the network server, standalone mode is for your own computer. Okay. So one is for multi-user who access database on the server, where the standalone mode is for a single user environment where you are the only one that uses AutoCAD Electrical in the company, nobody else uses it, right? And you want to improve some of the database searching speed, then you can also consider about the SQL. For those who've been using AutoCAD Electrical for a long time and you already have your own catalog database, okay, you don't have to recreate everything in SQL. So what you can do is you can install a program which comes with 2017 AutoCAD Electrical. It's called Content Migration Utility. This tool allows you to import your existing database and convert it into or export it into your SQL Server instance. So you get everything you have in your current system into the SQL. Okay, so it's quite a nice utility. Now this utility is not installed by default. Okay? It's actually quite tricky to find it. It doesn't really say anywhere. Even if you search Autodesk help, if you search for migrate access database to SQL Server, it doesn't really say how to find it or how to install it. It just tells you where to start it. In fact, if you just install the software by default, you will not have this migration tool. Okay? So you can't find this shortcut icon anywhere. So what you have to do is you've got to run the installation again and then choose Install Tools and Utilities. You've got to choose this option, Install Tools and Utilities. Okay. Once you click that, and then the dialog box pop up, and the first entry here says Autodesk Content Migration Utility for AutoCAD Electrical. So make sure that is ticked. Okay. You don't need the other software. For example, if you don't use network license or CAD manager tools, or you're not configuring role, you don't have to tick all the other options. So just tick the first one and untick all the rest. So it only takes a few seconds to install, a very small program. Once you install it, it will come up with the icon on your desktop and your startup menu. Okay, so I'll just show you what it looks like. So here's startup menu for programs. So when you install it, you're able to find it inside your startup menu there, and in AutoCAD Electrical, and then in the AutoCAD Batch Migrate. Oh, I think it disappeared for some reason. Database management. It's on the desktop if you can't find it on your hard drive. Yeah, AutoCAD Content Migration Utility. So once you start that, so it allows you to create and migrate the database. Okay. So if you want to create one on the server, then you just press that button. It will ask you where is your SQL server, what is the login details, and then you continue on following the instruction. For standalone, if you want to import and export your current catalog into your own computer, you can run this command here. Okay, migrate database. Right. Right, so these are the two options you can use. So the bottom line is those who want faster performance with multiple users in the company, and then the SQL catalog database might be an ideal solution. The other benefit having your catalog database in SQL is if you install the software in the future, you don't have to keep migrating or copy and pasting catalog over and over. Okay, that's what a lot of people do at the moment. Every time they upgrade the software, you have to convert your existing old database into a new database and keep everything tracked. Okay, but where with SQL you have a central one location for all your catalog database, and you don't have to keep looking for them and backing them up or update or whatever. Okay, so it's a central location with all the catalog database. That's a benefit of it. But if you're using the one person in your company, so you're the only person using AutoCAD Electrical, then you don't have to use it. Okay, you can just stick to whatever you have currently with the Access database. It doesn't really offer that much of benefits unless you have a massive database which takes you forever to find something every single time. But otherwise, for most users, it doesn't offer that much benefit. Okay. All right, let's continue on to the next part is the AutoCAD Electrical and Inventor Combined View Material Support. So a small enhancement here. What they did is when you're creating your panel or your schematic material report, you can also click include inventor part. Okay, so this function is for people who work with inventor as well. So if you don't use the inventor, then you don't have to worry about it. What it does is AutoCAD Electrical can work with a 3D solid program called Inventor, okay, where you can do 3D cable harnesses in Inventor, and then you can do a schematic in electrical and link to a 3D model. So if you do that if you do this kind of design, then previously you have to create two reports, one for Inventor and one for AutoCAD Electrical, plus some of the components are duplicated, so it's not very nice. You have to do quite a bit of processing to remove any extra component. But now you can create a report in AutoCAD Electrical and also include component from Inventor, so it doesn't duplicate any same component. Okay, so that's a benefit. So all you have to do is just start the panel or schematic report and tick include inventor parts. Okay, and that's it. Another nice feature which I do like is ignore errors in electrical audit. So those who never use electrical audit, I do recommend you to have a look at this feature. It's quite nice. So electrical audit is not a new function. What's new is this: it allows you to ignore any false alarms. Okay, I do use it, but not that often back in the old days. One of the reasons I don't use it that much back in the old days is because it's too much false alarm. For example, component with no connection or wire with no connection. Okay, these kind of feature had a very high probability of a false alarm because some component like 3 switches and you only connected 2, right? Or it has 5 input and output, you only use 3. Then it will report that that component has no connection because we haven't connected the other 2 yet. So that's kind of false alarm, right? And every time you do a report, it will say, oh, you got 200 errors, but in fact, probably only 20 of them are the real errors. All the rest are false alarm. And you couldn't ignore it back in the old days, so kind of annoying. Okay, but nowadays you can, in 2017, you can now ignore those potential false alarms. When you create a report for the first time, all you have to do is select the potential errors, right-click, and choose Mark as Ignored. Now this flag carries over through the project. That means if you save and close the project and then shut down the computer, start again next day, it will still memorize those potential errors are ignored. Okay, so it will remember that these are false alarms, and it will not display in the issues found entry. Okay, so I'll quickly show you how it works. It's very simple to use. So when you're working in AutoCAD Electrical, so once you finish a project, you can go to the Report tab, and there is the Electrical Audit, okay, push button there. So you click on it, it will scan your entire project, and then find any potential problems in your design. Okay, and it found 113 issues. Okay, so if you expand it, it will show you all the potential problems in your design. So some wire has no connection. If you want to find out what they are, just double click on it. Okay, it will take you to that drawing. And if you think, this one's a false alarm, you see that it is connected and maybe not very well, but yeah, or maybe there's a missing connection somewhere. Right, so if you think that is a false alarm, then you can highlight the entry, right-click, and just mark it ignored. So just by the way, before I ignoring it, it's got 113 issues. If I ignore it, it's only got 111 issues. So repeat this process for all the potential problems, and before you ignore them, it's highly recommended that you double check at the problem first. Okay, so double click on an entry, have a look at it to see is that a potential problem. So in this case, yes. because they had lots of terminals, and we only connected to most of these, only go. And this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connection doesn't have a wire connected to it, so it reported a false alarm. Okay, so if you think that that's not right, so let's go right click and ignore it. Okay, so it will say ignored, and that flag will be memorized in the system. Right? So next time you check it, it wouldn't say 113 errors anymore. It probably say 30, 40, whatever. Okay. By the way, for those who never used electrical audit, there's quite a nice feature. Some of them I use all the time in this component no catalog number. Okay, so that one will show you any component that does not have a catalog assigned to it. Right. So if you create a bill of material report, that it may not generate properly. So once you go in there, you can just right-click edit component, make sure you assign the correct information to that component. Okay, so this can be handy. All right, so catalog no catalog number. Component duplication, a nice tool as well. Sometimes you have two components with the exact same attribute. Okay, and that could mean that you may copy paste it, or you probably didn't use the correct AutoCAD Electrical tools to copy certain component. Okay, like a push button, use AutoCAD copy function, so it doesn't update its catalog value, the component tag, etc. Okay, so this will show you that any component that may have a component tag. Okay, so check them out, see if there are any problem, and then you can disable it or ignore it or change any values if you think they're wrong. Now that's nice feature to have. Component no connection and lots of false alarms, so I don't really check that all the time. Wire no connection, lots of false alarm as well, so that means the wire is not connected to anything. Okay. Contact is handy. That is showing you component with no parent. Okay, so you insert a contact, but you haven't attached to a relay yet, so it doesn't know where the parent is, or you may have delayed the parent. Okay, and but you haven't updated the child contact. Okay, to associate with another parent or remove those contacts. So this will show you that any child component without a parent. Okay, so it's handy, very useful. Okay. All right, so you can do the electrical audit for the whole project and just the active drawing. So I only show you the problem in this drawing. Okay, so there's only 17 issues here. Okay. Right, and you can then print a report of it. So that is the electrical audit. So what they did is they just added ignore function in 2017. Now let's have a look at the next part, is linking component in the location view tab. It's a small enhancement. You can always do that back in the old day, but you have to click a few more buttons. Now you can right-click on an inventory component in your AutoCAD Electrical and link it with an existing electrical component. Okay? Again, this is for electrical mechanical project. That means those people who use inventor and AutoCAD Electrical together at the same project. Okay? So you do your 3D model, like a truck, for example, in inventor, and then you do the cable and harnessing inside AutoCAD Electrical, and also a bit of inventor. So you can actually link the two software together. Okay, so you can do a bit of schematic in electrical, and then you can do the 3D modeling inside Inventor, right? If you do that, then sometimes you create a new component inside Inventor, you bring it into electrical, and then it couldn't recognize it. So, oh, what is that connector? So you can tell that this Inventor 3D model is actually that 2D symbol in AutoCAD Electrical. Okay, so you can actually assign an inventor component to an electrical 2D component. So they know that this connector in 2D is that connector in 3D. Okay? So to assign it, you just right-click on the inventor component and then select Assign to Existing Componentry. Okay? And that's it, very simple to use. Next is the insert and link connector in the location view tab. It's similar kind of update. Again, this is for electrical mechanical projects, so people who use inventor and electrical. You can also insert connector straight from the browser. Again, you can do that in the old days, but you can't just right-click in the browser and you have to press some other buttons, which are quite difficult to find. So they just made it easier to access. You can just right-click inside the browser tree and select Engler connector from the list, and that's it. So before I move on, I will show you those two features. You can change to location view, this option here. Okay, so that will show you the component in your design by location, and you can see that this component here are the connectors for my inventor design, which is that one there. Okay, so that's my inventor design I've associated with my AutoCAD Electrical project. So some of the connector hasn't been assigned to electrical component yet, so it doesn't know that which 2D symbol represent that 3D component. So you can right click on it and then select assign to existing component tree. Okay, just right click on it, and that will allow you to select which component it is. Okay, so you can just which one there. Okay, I can say this one is assigned to actually that AutoCAD Electrical connectors, right? So you can select one. So it's very simple to use, right? So you can just choose like that. Okay, so electrical, continue to link it, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I went. So it will link the components. So you can now see they have a link there. There it is. Okay. So very simple to use. For the Engler connector from list, you can right-click on the entry here and then select Engler connector from list. It will scan your design and then come up with a list of connectors that you can insert. So it will allow me to insert connector from a list, okay, without going through a database and search for it. Okay, so it can very quickly insert a strip of connectors. Next is insert footprint from catalog browser. Again, you can do that in the previous version as well. However, they enhanced it, so you don't have to go through a long searching process. All you have to do is bring up the catalog browser and then use the magnifying glasses button there. Okay, that will search for the symbol from the catalog database here. Okay, so back in the old day, you insert the symbol from catalog and then you do a search. Okay, through the database. Sometimes it could take you over 3 minutes to search for the right one. But now you can just quickly search it through the catalog browser there. Just press that little magnifying glass. Okay, so just right click, press that option. Next update is item number balloons update. Okay. It's quite a nice function. I do like it. What it does is, if you do change your balloon styles, you can tick this option, say apply to all balloons in active drawing. Okay, so that's the configuration settings. Previously, when you change the style, you have to update and retag, and then also update the library symbols. Okay, so it's a long process to change the style for the balloon, but nowadays you can very quickly change the style and then just press that button and then it will update your entire project with the new balloon style. Okay, so very handy to use. So this option in the panel drawing configuration. So in your AutoCAD Electrical, if you go to the panel tab, there is a configuration button you can press, and then you can tick this option to apply any changes to the standard that you set. Okay, so I don't want a circle anymore, I want a polygon. You can change how many polygon symbols you want from here. Okay, and then just tick apply to all balloons in active drawing. Next, the other enhancement inside the software is, first of all, a sort option available when you create terminal strip table generator. Small enhancement really. Previously, you have to manually select or manually sort yourself, but now you can just click on the tab and that will sort it for you. Okay. So that's under here, table generator. Okay. So you can you'll bring up a terminal strip table, and you can now sort it by location, terminal strip, or quantity. Okay, or if you have installation code, you can sort by installation code as well. So that's it. Okay, so it allows you to sort it. Item resequencing. So when you want to resequence item numbers, so that made a bit quicker to do. So you don't have to wait for the program to open every single drawing and update it. Okay? So it is now updated in the project level. So it's a lot quicker to process. for the item number resequence. And finally, just some security update. Okay, so make the file more secure. It's very rare, but there might be some sort of virus or certain bad AutoCAD Lisp file or DCL files. Okay, so what happened now is AutoCAD Electrical limits the use of a Lisp file and DCL file in a trusted path. And so previously you can sort of load it anyway, but now they just enhanced it. Right? Not a big deal. And those who doesn't use Lisp file and DCL file, it doesn't affect you that much. Okay. And that's it for the update in 2017.
If you're interested in learning more about AutoCAD Electrical, we do offer training courses which Z runs around the country. So Adelaide, Melbourne and Sydney, we have our training centres where we run in-person training classes, or if you can't get to one of those, we do offer online training options as well, and also support for the product. So if you'd like to be able to pick up the phone or send an email at any time and get assistance with using AutoCAD Electrical, Z is part of our support team and is available through paid support. So if either of those options are of interest, then please let us know. Or if you don't currently have the software, obviously we can supply you with the latest version of AutoCAD Electrical as well.